In a small town called Ogudu, people lived a simple life. They fetched water from the stream, fried akra by the roadside, and greeted each other with smiles. But one day, everything changed because of a woman named Ebra. Ebra was not born rich. In fact, she used to sell roasted corn with her mother beside the market square. She would wear her wrapper tight, her face always covered in smoke, and her slippers always burnt by the fire. But Ebra was different. She was not just beautiful. She had something that money couldn't buy. She was kind, respectful, and full of wisdom. One day, a big black Jeep with tinted glass stopped by her corn stand. A man came down. He wore a clean white agbada and dark glasses. His wristwatch alone could build 4 houses. People whispered, "Now billionaire Chief Namdi, oh." Chief Namdi asked for corn. As Ebra gave it to him, she smiled and said, "This one goes sweet well. I put special love inside." He laughed. It was the first time in many years that someone spoke to him like a normal person, not because of his money. 1 month later, he returned. Then again. Before people knew what was happening, Ebra was in a private jet to Dubai. When pictures of her wedding hit the internet, her gown shining like stars, her smile bright as morning sun, people couldn't believe it. A village girl, billionaire's wife. The video of her dancing at the wedding went viral. People were reposting and shouting, "God!" when other women became jealous. Some were angry, saying, "Is it not that same Ebra that was roasting corn? What does she have that I don't?" But Ebra didn't brag. She didn't bleach her skin or talk down on anyone. Instead, she came back to Ogudu and built a new market for all the women. She gave her old roasting stand to another poor girl, smiling as she said, "Now here my blessings start." But not everybody was happy. There was one woman, Mama Cynthia, who believed that Ebra had stolen the man meant for her daughter, and she was ready to scatter everything. When Mama Cynthia heard that Chief Nambi married Ebra, she nearly fainted. She shouted, "Tufiakwa, that roasted corn girl. After all the church fasting my daughter Cynthia did? This is village jazz." Cynthia, her daughter, was also boiling. She had gone to university, wore wigs like Nollywood actresses, and used cream that made her skin shine like mirror. She believed Chief Namdi would pick her. She even practiced how to say good morning, darling in British accent. But now, Ebra, with no makeup and firewood smoke, had taken the crown. Cynthia and her mother started going around the village, gossiping. Ebra must have used charm, they said. Maybe she washes clothes without band soap, others added. But Ebra didn't answer anybody. She just continued doing good. She brought computers to the village school. She paid for young girls to learn tailoring. She even invited some of the market women to her mansion in Lagos. Women who had never seen an elevator before screamed, "Hey, the wall is moving." Meanwhile, Chief Namdi loved her more every day. He would post her picture on social media and write things like, "My queen, my peace, my blessing" from the street corner. People across Nigeria were talking. Who was this woman that humbled a billionaire? How did she do it? Not charm or not grace. She was invited to speak on TV shows. One day, a big news channel asked her, "Madam Ebra, what's your secret?" She smiled and said, "Love, respect, and pepper soup. I didn't fight to get him. I just treated him like a human being." But trouble was coming. One day, as Ebra prepared food for an orphanage, a strange letter arrived. It had no name, just bold red letters that said, "Leave Chief Namdi or he will die." Ebra's hands shook. She looked around. Could it be jealousy? Could it be Cynthia? Could it be someone from Chief Namdi's past? She hid the letter and told no one. But that night, she couldn't sleep. And the next morning, Chief Namdi collapsed during breakfast. Ebra screamed as Chief Namdi slumped onto the floor. His spoon dropped. His eyes rolled. His body was shaking like generator with bad fuel. "Somebody help me," she cried. The cook, the driver, even the gateman rushed in. They carried him into the car and drove like mad people to the hospital. Ebra held his hand and whispered, "Please, don't leave me. You're not just my husband. you're my friend." At the hospital, the doctors ran up and down. Machines were beeping. One nurse even ran out to buy drip from a nearby pharmacy. After hours, a doctor came out and said, "He's stable, but we need to keep him under watch. Something poisoned his system." Poison. Ebra's heart jumped. She remembered the strange letter. "Leave Chief Namby or he will die." Someone wanted to destroy them. She sat by his hospital bed, crying quietly. The man who once shook hands with presidents was now lying weak, holding her fingers like a child. But Ebra was not a woman to give up. No way. She wiped her tears, stood up and said, "Whoever did this, you've touched the wrong corn cellar." She hired private investigators, checked the house cameras, and called security from his company. She even sent his food for testing. 2 days later, something shocking happened. One of the cleaners at the mansion confessed. Crying, "I didn't mean to harm Olga," she sobbed. "They paid me to drop powder inside his pap." Ebra shouted, "Who is they?" "Who paid you?" The girl was shaking. "A woman," she came with Gelly. "She said if I talk, she will deal with my family." "Describe her," Ebra demanded, and the girl replied. "She said her name is Mama Cynthia." Ebra's eyes widened. Her chest rose and fell. "So it's true." All this while, they were smiling in church, but stabbing me from the back. That evening, she went to the village in a black SUV, her eyes red with fire. She wasn't just coming as a billionaire's wife. She was coming as a warrior. But what she saw when she got to Mama Cynthia's compound shocked her. Cynthia was on the ground, crying. Her face had bruises. Her fine clothes were torn. People were surrounding her, shouting and holding sticks. Ebra rushed in, confused. "What's happening here?" she asked. An old woman in the crowd said she tried to use charm on another man. The charm backfired. Everyone turned to look at Ebra, some in shame, some in fear. Others whispered, "See how Ebra still came to help them. Nah, real woman be this." Ebra sighed, walked to Cynthia, and said, "Even now, I'll still help you. But after this, no more evil." Cynthia nodded and cried louder. But little did Ebra know, Mama Cynthia had a bigger plan brewing in secret. Even though Ebra helped Cynthia that day, she didn't know that Mama Cynthia was watching everything from the corner of her room, hiding behind her curtain like a village spy. Mama Cynthia was not touched by Ebra's kindness. Instead, she grew angrier. "She thinks she's better than us just because she married money," she hissed. That night, as crickets sang and the moon smiled over Ogudu village, Mama Cynthia brought out a small black calabash. She opened it and whispered words in a strange language. Inside the calabash was a mirror, red pepper, and something that looked like a dried lizard. She said, "Ebra, if I can't bring you down with mouth, I'll bring you down with spirit." Meanwhile, back in Lagos, Chief Namby had recovered. The doctor said it was a miracle how fast he healed. When he returned home, he hugged Ebra and said, "You're not just my wife, you're my shield." Ebra smiled, but deep inside, she was still afraid. She didn't know Mama Cynthia was now dealing with spirits. 1 week later, strange things started happening. The lights in their mansion would flicker for no reason. Ebra would hear someone calling her name in the night, but when she woke up, no one was there. A glass cup exploded on its own in the kitchen. And worse, Chief Namby started sleepwalking, going outside at 2 a.m., saying things like, "She's calling me. I must go." Ebra knew something was wrong. She called her mother in the village. Mama simply said, "My daughter, this is not ordinary. You need prayer." Ebra invited her old pastor from the village. The man came with anointing oil, Bible, and 3 prayer warriors. As they prayed in the mansion, one of the women shouted, "Ede, there's a strong spirit here. A woman has tied this house with a red cloth under a mango tree." Chief Namby shouted from upstairs, still asleep, "Mama Cynthia, let me go." Everybody paused. The pastor shouted, "We've seen the enemy, but we will not fear. We serve a bigger God." The prayers continued. Meanwhile, back in Ogudu, Mama Cynthia danced in her room with the calabash in her hand. "By next week," She said, Eber go pack her load and run. But something she didn't know was that her own charm had started turning against her. That night, she had a dream. In the dream, Eber stood in front of her, wearing white and shining like sun. She said, I didn't fight you, but you brought war to me. So now, I leave you to the one who fights for me. Mama Cynthia woke up sweating. Her mirror had cracked. The calabash had dried up. Her eyes started twitching. Something had gone wrong. She ran to the backyard to check her shrine. But what she saw there made her scream like a mad woman. Her shrine was on fire. Not a fire that burns wood. No, this one was burning but not destroying. The red cloth she tied under the mango tree was floating in the air like it had wings. The ground under her feet was shaking like a yam-pounding mortar. She screamed, Jesus, oh! Somebody help me. But no one came. It was midnight, and even dogs were hiding. From the burning shrine, a deep voice thundered, You touched the wrong woman. Her tears are louder than your charms. Mama Cynthia fell to the ground, begging, Forgive me. I didn't know she was covered. Just then, thunder clapped 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. The mango tree fell. The fire vanished, and Mama Cynthia lay on the ground, her mouth twisted to one side, her voice gone. Meanwhile, in Lagos, Eber woke up that same night with peace in her heart. No more whispers, no more broken glasses. Chief Namdi slept calmly beside her, no more sleepwalking. The pastor called her early in the morning. Daughter, he said, whatever was sent against you is returned to sender. The battle is over. But it wasn't really over. That same morning, Eber's phone rang. It was a block number. When she answered, a man's voice said, You don't know me, but I'm Chief Namdi's elder brother, and I'm coming for you. Her heart skipped. Why? She asked, her voice shaking. The man replied, Because everything he owns is supposed to be mine. But ever since you came, my brother has forgotten everyone else. You must leave, or you'll lose everything. Another enemy? From the same family? Eber sat down slowly. She looked at her wedding ring. She remembered the village, the corn, the market, the roasted fire. She whispered, Is this how rich people live? Fighting from left, right, and center? She didn't know whether to run, cry, or fight. But one thing she knew for sure. She had come too far to turn back. Eber stared at her phone, her heart beating like village drum. Another enemy? And this time from inside the family? She stood up, walked to the mirror, and looked at herself. I am not that corn seller anymore, she whispered. But I have not changed my heart. She didn't tell Chief Namdi what his brother said. She didn't want to break his heart. Instead, she went to the village again to visit the one person who had once called her witchin homebreaker, Mama Cynthia. But this time, Mama Cynthia couldn't talk. She was sitting outside her hut, silent, her face blank, her mouth still twisted from the shrine fire. People said she now talks to ants and hugs the air. Eber walked to her, bent down, and said softly, I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I want peace to grow in me like cassava. She dropped a small bag beside her. It was full of medicine, foodstuff, and money. Everyone who saw it was shocked. Even after all she did, Eber still came to help. A young girl watching from the corner said, If this is what it means to be rich, I want this kind of riches too. The one that doesn't just build houses but heals hearts. When Eber returned to Lagos, Chief Namdi's elder brother had already come. He was shouting in the compound, I will drag you to court. You married a local girl and forgot your family. She's using charm. Eber came out slowly. She didn't shout. She simply brought out a big envelope. Inside were documents. One for a hospital she had built in the brother's village. One for a scholarship given in his son's name. One for a loan she had paid secretly on his behalf years ago without telling anyone. Chief Namdi saw the documents and was speechless. His brother dropped the papers, looked at Eber, and said, Why would you do all this for someone who tried to push you away? Eber smiled gently, because love is not just romance and roses. Love is sacrifice. Love is forgiveness. Love is what made me rise from roasted corn to riches, not charm. The brother turned away, ashamed. That evening, Chief Namby held her hands, kissed her forehead, and said, "You're not just my wife. You're the light I never knew I needed." Months passed. Ebra's name was everywhere, not just for marrying a billionaire, but for what she stood for: grace, kindness, power without pride. Other women stopped being jealous. Instead, they started learning from her. They called her the Queen of Humility, Mama of Mercy, the corn seller that taught the world love. And so, from the dust of a market square to the lights of the city, from insults to invitations, from rejection to royalty, Ebra became a name that would never be forgotten. The end. For more interesting stories like this, click the subscribe button, like and share.